Today we are driving a Honda Civic EP3 Type R. It is magnificent. Now this one is not a standard car by any stretch. It's fully polybushed. It's got a Tegra full straight through 3-inch exhaust. It's got a Hyundai to ECU. It's got a Skunk to intake. The list is pretty good for a non-supercharged or turbocharged EP3 Type R. It makes 250 horsepower, which is a 50 horsepower increase over a standard car, which when you talk about it in terms of percentages, is a huge increase of power. You don't get that from a lot of other cars, especially a naturally aspirated car. And it's also got a 5,000 RPM VTEC kick-in. Whereas it's usually a bit higher than that, it's been mapped in to come in lower, so the lower end torque isn't as poor as it would be from the normal engine. So we are now in the engine bay of this EP3. It has got a aftermarket fuel rail with a gauge so you can measure your fuel pressures more accurately instead of having to plug in all the time. So yeah, here we've got the Skunk 2 intake and then the cold air box, which is giving it nice cool air to breathe. And if you see all the way down there, we have actually got the Tegra aftermarket exhaust. That is a full system, and it is loud, I can't lie, but it's not too bad. And considering like these cars, the early 2000s, sound deadening isn't that good. It's not drony inside the car whatsoever, and you get some nice pops and bangs and stuff like that. Also, one of the best things about this car is the yellow speed coilovers, which it's got all round. And these are actually coilovers I used on the Civic Cup cars, and I can see why they use it. They have such good damping. Like, we've been on some really bumpy roads today, and it handles bumps really, really well. It rides really low, so you need something that's a bit stiffer so it's not smashing into the ground all the time. And these do a fantastic job of that. It's also got a fast road alignment, which makes a big difference to a car like this. They come from standard with a very boring sort of alignment, so it's never going to be the most sprightly, and it's an old car, so that alignment is definitely not what it came out the factory with. So this car has been really, really well looked after. It's got alignment, that kind of stuff, which makes such a difference to the driving experience. I don't think you can have as much fun for this sort of price point. No. Like second-hand, these are a cheap one, relatively high mileage, which you shouldn't really worry too much about these because of the engine. But you can probably pick one up for 4. Yeah,
the owner said he paid 4.9, I think, 4.8.
And this is a good car, it's been looked after, so it's one of them where So this car has got some nice, tasteful modifications. Whilst it does look relatively stock, it is lowered with the coilovers which we've previously spoken about, but it's also got this really, really nice Mugen adjustable rear wing, which everybody loves Mugen, especially Jack boys, they all love it. So it's just a really nice little modification over standard, which does make a difference to the overall presentation of the car. We've also got the diffuser down here. I don't think there are any aerodynamic benefits from it, but it looks good and it fits with the way the styling of this car is. A load of people change these wheels. They put, I think, like Evo 9 wheels on them, but I think those are actually quite a nice looking wheel, and I don't think you actually need to change them. And it fits really nice, like silver with the black. Silver wheels are the best colour for wheels, hands down. Nothing looks better, in my opinion. So these cars, being the age they're at now, most of them are around the 20 years old mark, even some slightly older. So rust is a thing that these cars do suffer with. However, this one has been so well looked after. It's had any sort of rust that was ever on it has been completely deleted. It's had a rust delete. And as you can see down here, this is a very, very well-known place for these cars to rot. And as you can see in there, it is absolutely immaculate. This car's really been looked after by its owner. But just future-proofing these cars are only going to go up in value. So if you can look after your car now, when they're sort of in their lower price bracket, then it's a good investment that you can drive around all the time. All Japanese hot hatches, like the EK9, all those cars, they've all rocketed in price, and these just haven't gone yet, but they're starting to go. So if you can future-proof one of these, you're in for a good bit of money.
It's actually a very comfy car.
It's really comfy.
It's very strange.
But the seats are so comfy. The steering isn't the most responsive, but that's like me comparing that to the ST, which the sharpness on that Mark 8 ST, I have never felt anything like it. It was unbelievably fast.
I mean, obviously this has VTEC. It's got a little bit of inconsistency, but you know it's what it's going to do.
Yeah.
When it's going to kick in, you know
and the
what it's going to do.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the first time I've ever driven a car with VTEC, and what a car to drive with.
I mean, you think about it and it sounds like a gimmicky thing, but it's not.
It's not.
You
It's
feel
fantastic.
it. It's real. It's real. It's not like VTI where nothing really happens.
No,
This is real.
It
This is
really is there. It's fantastic, and it makes the car. It has an interesting factor about it that it's got that thing. It's not just just a regular power band. It does have that change of power band once you get in this car. 5K, it's been changed. But we've just been spoiled with this car. How well it's been put together.
Yeah, that's true.
And how well.
It's a very clean example.
Yeah, you're not going to get a cleaner example.
This also has launch control.
It does have launch control, which we will be sampling very soon.
Yeah. Launch control then.
This is launch control.
It spins.
It spins. I've only been driving it now for an hour or two, but it feels like I've been driving the car for months. It fits like a glove straight away. And I think now is time for the old launchy launch.
Go on then, we're good.
So,
On our private land, we're good.
private land.
Oh,
Flames, that's flames.
Yeah, the owner said
She spits big
flames 2 foot out the back.
Yeah.
And he was saying as well, the exhaust on this is actually one of the quieter exhausts you can get on it. Which,
God help all the other systems,
Yeah.
because this is loud already, like really loud.
so the gear placement, very talked about.
We've talked about it briefly, but absolutely spot on.
Because it's a bit of a controversial thing. A lot of people say, a lot of people say it's a van style gearbox.
Yeah,
How it's so high up.
But what's wrong with that? It's functional.
Yeah.
It's more functional than other gear shifts. So
You can do those DMO style speedy shifts.
Yeah, I'm not allowing those arguments to be validated. They are talking rubbish. It's a fantastic idea. And I don't know why more car manufacturers haven't done it.
Yeah. I mean, looking at it, it does look a bit silly.
It does look funny. Granted, I like a cloth thing or something
yeah,
like it
of
doesn't
course.
matter, but it looks a bit like a.
I don't even know.
It looks like a robot arm a bit.
Yeah, it looks like a robot tensing, but it's got bingo wings. You know what I mean? What's left foot braking like?
A mega.
Huh?
Mega.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Pedal placement is superb. It reminds me of Jack Russell.
This?
Yappy. Just told it, really angry. Like
Yeah.
It's exhaust, it's just a Jack Russell. It is just yappy, constantly like scrabbling away. Like.
A bit of a boring film fact, but the MPG on this isn't actually that bad, is it?
No, if you keep out of VTEC, you're going to be hitting 30, 35 MPGs. I reckon you can get that higher on a very careful motorway road.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a bit boring.
Once you hit VTEC, you're not hitting those.
Yeah,
speeds
you
anymore.
don't buy a Type R to drive economically.
The engine is the key thing for this car.
Yeah.
It has so much character, and that's what has made these cars so infamous, especially in tuning, because they are so reliable. Like they con the nickname bulletproof
Yeah.
because people have done silly things with these and they just can't blow them up.
You see so many people engine
So
swap.
responsive.
Like you swap K20s into things. So many people swap K20s into things.
Yeah.
The most common swap, I'd say,
Yeah.
probably.
When you compare them to similar engines that came out at this time, this engine is head and shoulders above the rest.
What would you say the bad bits are then?
Possibly steering feel. I don't think it's talking to me as much as I expected. Don't get me wrong, it's really good. But
Yeah.
I don't have that feel of everything that's going on. Like, also have enough to push it. It's an analog car. There's no electronics to save you. So I would expect there's a bit more steering feel, but it's don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad in any way because it is really good. I've just expected a little bit more. It's just those fine details that you can feel at your fingertips that it's just missing at the moment. It's got some stiff competition against this, and you can see why Top Gear at the time when they reviewed this car,
Yeah.
they said how good it was, and it makes complete sense. It's peppy and it feels on its toes. It doesn't feel like it's lumbering around and rolling all the time.
Yeah, there wasn't any point in today that I felt like, oh,
Yeah, this
the
car's,
sketch. Like this,
yeah,
it was
car's
everything's
moving about
dialed.
like I don't like it. It's not doing anything you don't expect it to
Yeah.
do. It's doing everything I'm doing to it, and it responds really well.
It's good.
So it's just a confidence car, and it gives you so much confidence to go and push it.
So for the price point, so let's say, for example, you could pick an average one up for £5,000, like the owner did for this one. Would you recommend it as
Yes.
someone who drives it as a daily car, has it as normal?
Yeah, definitely. Because people worry. There's always that age-old thing of mileage on cars.
Yeah.
These cars go on for ages and ages and
Basically
ages.
brand new, this one.
100,000 miles
Yeah.
is nothing in these cars.
Brand new.
So it's like, as a daily, don't have to worry about reliability. It's a Honda, it's a K20, it's not going to go wrong. But yeah, it's a daily, but just as a fun Sunday car to go and take out on a B-road bash, it's fantastic. It's definitely up there with fun factor with the GR, possibly even more fun because it's that much more engaging. It's raw. It has no things to filter off what it actually is. So yeah, no, it's a fantastic car. Thank you for watching, and if you want your car featured on my channel, then drop me a message in the comments, but ideally drop us a message on Instagram, which we'll tag somewhere on the screen above. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Give us a bit of feedback as well. We're still trying to learn these videos and what works and what sort of things you expect to see from a video like this. So drop us some suggestions and we'll always try and take them on board. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for watching. There has been the Honda Civic EP3 Type R. Thank you. You are not having as much fun in this car for the same price. It is...
It smells like oil.